Okay, so now it's already past 7. Let's start. Good day, everyone. Thanks for coming to the information seminar for Master of Science in Advanced Occupational Therapies, or shortly we call MScAdOT. Right? I'm Dr. Will Chen, Associate Professor, and also the Program Leader of this Master programs. Today, I'm talking about is the Advanced OT Master of Science programs. Compared to the previous one, you may heard about the MScOT in the past over in our department. Today, I'm telling you there are some differences, the huge differences I will elaborate later on. So in this slide, you can see that it's online for today's information seminar. Hopefully, we'll cover everything else within 30 minutes and also offer you a Q&A session. First, I would like to emphasize the most important thing is the differences between these advanced Master of Science program compared to previous Master of Science in OT program. We have various of specialty to be chosen by the future students. So when you apply our MSc AD/OT programs, you are able to select. There are 3 specific specialties I will elaborate later on, plus the generic. If you don't have any preferences, then you can still choose the generic stream. And for these new programs, we adopt flexible learning mode. If you consider flexible learning mode just happen in an evening class for our master program, that is really not enough. Our revised advanced programs, we try to tailor-make our program and course suitable for full-time worker, which is those frontline clinicians. They are working in the clinics or hospital at this moment at full-time in daytime. So they have to come to attend our lecture tutorial on the evening time, and sometimes they're already very tired. So we provide a flexible learning mode, which is a hybrid or free learning pedagogy for our students choose. This means that some of the lecture would be offered online, so you may not necessary to come to Palu in a certain week, but we will ensure you have sufficient contact hours with our teacher, our clinician, and so you are still able to learn efficient and sufficient clinical skills you want to learn. So this is called flexible learning mode. Plus, we will invite world-class researcher and speaker to offer the guest seminar. So as our student, you are able to learn up to date and also research-oriented knowledge from not only our teacher, but also outside those important or well-known researcher and clinician. And differently, we also offer entry scholarship. I will elaborate later on in one of my slides. So for this advanced program, and we also try to revise. Why? Because we want to equip students with advanced knowledge and professional skills in OT or a chosen area of clinical specialties within OT. That's why we add the 3 specialties. And we want to enable them to meet the changing need in OT practice. What is a changing need? Just this year, AI, artificial intelligence, become increasingly popular, right? So as an OT clinician, we also have to embrace AI development and advance our knowledge and skills to use the AI in clinical setting. So that's why we want to also change our program to equip our students to able to meet those changing needs, and so to contribute the development of the specialties and practice. Next, we also want to equip students with a lifelong ability to critical analysis and evaluate ongoing practice, so the quality of OT practice can be advanced and enhanced. Lastly, it would be the generated knowledge and skills in OT or a field of clinical specialism relevant to the discipline, so as to improve professional competence in advanced OT practice. So you can see we try to emphasize advanced within these 3 program aims. So now you can see what would be the three specialisms we try to offer? Neurology, mental health, and musculoskeletal. These three specialisms, we already did a lot of survey to the future students or past students or alumni, and they choose if we offer these three specialisms, they are more likely to apply for. So that's why we choose these three needy and common specialisms for our future Master of Science AD OT student to choose from. But if you don't have any preference, as I mentioned, you can also choose generic without specialism. There are some differences between this specialism and generic stream. I will elaborate in the next slide here. So you can see the program curriculum, no matter which specialism program or generic program, they have to study the compulsory subject, which is the three compulsory subject, and one would be project studies. The differences come from the core subject. For generic stream, you don't need to take any core subject. But if you're choosing one of the specialism stream, then you have to study the three core subjects in each specialism. Right? And you can see these three specialism subjects in our website and also in the slide. In addition to core subject, any specialism stream, you also have to study three additional elective subjects. It can be from any subject we offer in our program. It may not necessarily relevant to OT because we also offer some AI-related or primary health-related subject. If you are interested, you can also study as your elective. For generic stream, you can study any 6 subjects we offer in our program or our department as your core and elective subject. So it's very flexible for you to study based on your interest. So this is just a summary about subject requirements. As a specialism, you have to study 3 core subjects in order to graduate with specialism specialty in your certificate. And for elective, then you only study 3 elective. Compared to generic stream, then there's no restriction about which subject will be your core subject. However, you have to study 6 elective subjects in order to fulfill 18 credit for this category. So you may ask me what is the difference between generic and specialism in the certificates. Right? For the name, Master of Science in Advanced in OT, this will remain the same among specialties or generic stream. But if you graduate from the specialisms, right, after the Master of Science in Advanced OT, then there will be the brackets. List out your specialism in your certificate. So this gives you not only certificate that you graduate from Master of Science in Advanced in OT, but also give the specialism, the qualification or the reputation you want to go deeper in your career and show to your future employer. The next is a core teaching member. So you can see in our department, we have 9 scholars ranked world top 2% scientists. And if you're looking at the red highlight part, they are employees in our OT program team. And for those dark blue highlight will be employed in our PT program team. For Master of Science in AD OT program, then we also have a core teaching member listed in the slide. There are 2 particular persons I would like to introduce, which is one is Professor Stephanie Lau. Right. So remember, we have 3 specialisms, right? So he is actually responsible for one of specialism, which is mental health. So if you apply for mental health specialism, then he will be the person to review your application profile and interview. The other person is Professor Devin Tan. She is responsible for the neurology specialism, right? Again, if you apply for specialism in this neurology, then she will be the person to look after you. And if you're interested in generic and musculoskeletal, then me will be the person to review your application documents. So they are academic tracks, but in our teaching team, we also have a clinical track, which is those teachers, they are originally work in hospital or NGO, they become our teacher in our departments. They have a title we call Professor of Practice. So they have a very, very skillful about clinical skills. They will teach you about clinical skills. And again, our department not only OT background teacher, but we also have a lot of big teachers with different background. So we have the 4 teachers will teach you in various of expertise in several subjects. Then you will meet them when you enter to our program. So they have different background and they will teach you different knowledge, but in combination with OT. So then you might also interested in what would be our entry requirements. For those English professionalism, I just retrieved from our party website. And so for most update information, you perhaps have to go to academic register to update those latest English proficiency, because sometimes we will accept other type of English language tests, but I did not show in here because there are so many. I just list out some basic I can remember from my previous admission exercise. But one thing I would like to emphasize is that for those applicants who are not outside Hong Kong, for example, if you study, you complete your university in Singapore. Most of Singapore university actually they teach students on the undergraduate program, they teach students in English, right? So in that kind of situation, that you don't need to provide a certificate to prove your English proficiency. Then you can actually apply for waive this component. If you are undergraduate university, they're using English as a main medium for teaching. Education qualification, right? We accept a student who has a bachelor degree in OT from Purdue or a recognized institute or the equivalent. If you have a bachelor, then we prefer you also have 1 year post-qualification work experience in OT. If you do not graduate with a bachelor degree, but with the professional diploma in OT from Purdue or from a recognized institute or equivalent, we will require you have at least 2 years of experience and evidence of continuous education over the past 2 years. This slide showing to you what would be the roughly number, right, we will offer in this admission exercise from the past history, right? So for past MScOT program is actually, we conduct admission every 2 years. So in 2023 and 24, this is actually special admission, right? So that's why you can see between 2022 and 2025, there is one more cohort here. But roughly every cohort, we offer about 20 or more students to study in our master program. So this gives you a roughly estimation how many students we might accept in this admission exercise. And for mode of study, we have a part-time and full-time study mode. If you're looking for full-time, then your normal duration is 1 year. For part-time is 2.5 years. Then the maximum duration will be double from the normal duration. This is the mode of study. This is the most important slide I also want to let students know. I understand that the study is hard, especially when you study 31 credits within 1 or 2 years, right? So this slide showing to you our recommendation of the most comfortable study mode for you to make a decision. For example, if you are studying full-time mode, we will suggest you complete the 3 core compulsory subjects labeled in the green in the first semester. This content with a research method and statistics, and also one of the compulsory subjects belong to OT. And then also there's one more, which is the HTI 5T04. This teach you academic integrity and ethics. And then we are also ask you to study 2 additional core or elective subjects. So in the first semester, you might have a hard time. Why? Because you may study 5 subjects in one semester. But HTI 5T04 subject is only 1 credit subject, and it doesn't require you study every week, right? And so this could be equivalent only have half subject at the same time. So you can consider like a first semester is only 4.5 subject you have to study. And why is at the end here +1? This project study, this year-long subject. You have to start to select your supervisor, working with your supervisor to write out the proposal and apply for ethics. And in semester 2, then you are able to recruit participants and do the data analysis. For semester 3, which usually will be summer semester, then you have to present your work in the external reviewer. And for semester 2, then I will suggest you study 4 subjects. So this is a full-time mode. For part-time mode, my personal recommendation is you study at most 2 subjects in 1 semester only. So that's why you can see that in the first semester of the first year, we only suggest you select 1 compulsory subject plus 1 core or elective subject. Same as a semester 2, this is half point. That's 1 credit subject, right? So doesn't cost a lot of study more. So that's why we recommend you study 2 core or elective subject in the semester 2 of year 1. And then for semester 1, then you study research methods and statistics. Why did you choose the ISO 517 in the second year? Why? Because that at the same time, we will recommend you start your project study. And so you will have a better hands-on experience to write out a research proposal and also choose which statistics you will use in your future project study. And so you can see roughly each semester, we will suggest you select only at most 2 subjects for part-time students. Next one, tuition. This is the second most important slide in my information seminar. For no matter you are non-local or local student, the tuition fee is about 230,000 Hong Kong dollars. And you can see the credit cost is 7,400 Hong Kong dollars. Right. And this could be changeable, right? Year by year. So if you also if you know some picture, tuition picture from the overseas university, I guess that will be more expensive when you study as an international student. But one of the advantage of our program is no matter you are local or non-local, you pay the same range, right? And this range of tuition actually is lower than overseas university compared to, for example, like University of Queensland or University of Southern California. Their tuition would be much higher than this tuition because we are what we consider as international students. Next one, if you already study master, you already have a first master degree and you want to do the credit transfer, you are also welcome, but there are some conditions. Those subject credit must be within 5 years, and you have obtained at least B grade, and you also have to be approved by the subject leader for your credit transfer application. And we also give you the maximum threshold. You cannot transfer every subject you already have for all of our core or compulsory subject. And other information, our instruction languages will be conducted in English, right? And so that's why we have to prove you or have a sufficient English proficiency. For world ranking, we are 54 in QS ranking and 83 in the time in higher education in 2025. And so we are quite good in terms of our quality of university facilities as well, and also our intellectual properties and teaching member. So we actually have the quality assurance when you study. So that is the quality assurance indicators. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, we also offer the RS entry scholarship. For this year admission, we have a 3/4 per programs. And so the maximum amount is 20,000 Hong Kong dollars for each awardee. For those students, if you already got an offer, no matter it's a firm offer or conditional offer, you are eligible to apply for this entry scholarship. You have to demonstrate you have outstanding, excellent track record in academic or clinical work in the rehabilitation field. You also have to demonstrate a commitment to develop OT profession with a good track record of established service validated by the respective employee organization and all professional bodies. Right? So perhaps you have to get those recommendation letter from your previous boss or your professional body to prove you will become a future leader in your field. Then you can apply for this entrance scholarship. There are other information about research area that would be good for your project study. In our department, we have 5 research area. I will stop here and then leave you for exploration when you enter to our department. All right, so this is the contact information. If you're interested in this program, you can contact either me or Mrs. Pasty Lee, and there is an email listed up in this slide. But one thing I would like to remind you, especially you that are sitting in the floor or in front of a computer watching this information seminar, I want to remind you that applying now, or if you still haven't made a decision to apply our program or not this year, it's okay, but you have to wait. Next admission will be open in 2027, which is 2 years later. Right? So for those students or applicants, you want to plan your career earlier, right? And so you don't know when you want to apply. So that's why I provide a timeline for you here. So you can apply our program and complete the program. If you really want a qualification to get a promotion or apply for new area of job, then you better to apply now and study next year. But you haven't make a decision yet, or you haven't still explore yourself whether you want which specialty you want to go deeper, then you maybe wait for 2 years later for the next admission. Thank you. So that's all of my information seminar today. Thanks for your listening. Do you have any question you want to ask me? If you have any question, you can type your question in a chat box. Then I will see the chat box for your question. Do I need to quit? All right. And then, all right, let me double check. Chat box. We still have 3 more minutes because next seminar for rehabilitation, Master of Science in Advanced Rehabilitation Science will be held in 7:30. So I have to end the session by 7:30. Any question you want to ask me? Or you are still typing? All right, so if you don't have any questions, you are free to go. I'm looking forward to see your application and also see you in the lecture hall next September. Thank you. And if you have additional questions you want to ask me, this is my email address. Send an email to me for any kind of requirement. Thank you.